my left, all the way down there, is lovely Brittany Cimaglia. Lou Cimaglia. Nick Cimaglia. Marion Cimaglia. And of course, Lou Cimaglia. We are going to have dinner before most of the festivities, but our prestigious Senator Bruce Tarr does have another engagement that he needs to get to, so we're going to accommodate Bruce and bring him up here to say hello to Lou. Please welcome Bruce Tarr.
Thank you very much, Steve. And I want to begin by saying it's always a pleasure and an honor to be part of a Good Guy ceremony. And I particularly want to congratulate Steve on his first night up here at this podium. I know the training wheels are on, but we're all pulling for you, and we're hoping for the best, and we hope that the scars that you have at the end of this night will be minimal. It's always a great pleasure to come to this because it is such a unique event. And oftentimes people in some of the other communities that I represent, when I say that I'm going to be attending the Good Guy ceremony in another day or another week, will say, the Good Guy ceremony, what's that all about? And it's very interesting when I explain to them that that is when we find the nicest guy or gal in Wilmington. We get the whole town together and we abuse them mercilessly for an entire night. And they're still a little bit puzzled after that, but it's really great to be part of this, and I think tonight's honoree is certainly exemplary of the very best of the Good Guy tradition. And Lou, this is going to be... I just noticed Tom Pizarro by the door. That's a very nice tie, Tom. I know the cable folks have been using that to... It's not big enough to be your tongue. But Tom, I want to congratulate you because the cable guys have been using that to balance their camera's color all night, so thank you. But I know it's all right. It's good to see you, too. But, you know, Lou, I know a lot of people are concerned these days. There's been a lot of news coming out of Washington about the White House and the CIA monitoring people's telephone calls. But you don't have to worry. They're not going to monitor your phone calls. They're just going to take tonight's tape and use it against you later. So you can feel a little bit relieved of that. But I know that tonight is going to be a wonderful night. I'm only sorry in some ways that I can't be here for the remainder of it. But in other ways, I'm glad because I wouldn't want to be subpoenaed as a witness in any legal action that might arise from tonight's events. And the truth be told is I do have another event to go to, but it's also very good that I'm able to go first, and that will leave the rest of the night for Representative Miceli. Lou, I do just want to say it is an honor and truly a pleasure to be able to come and congratulate you on this Good Guy Award. You have given this community, and in fact our state, something very special. When you stood up and started to advocate for and support the veterans of our nation and the people that are serving our country in the uniforms of various military services, you struck a chord. And that chord was a reminder that each and every one of us needs to stand in support of the people that put on a uniform and stand in harm's way on our behalf. And there's lots of debate out there about various things that are going on in the world, but there ought never to be debate that we support the men and women who serve in our armed services. And And Lou, I truly believe that we all had that message in our hearts, and we believed it, but you gave it purpose. And you made us proud to support veterans, and you made us proud to stand with you and to work with you, and you've set an example not only for this community and this state, but for this entire nation about what it means to be an American and what it means to have a common bond for people that make sacrifices on our behalf. And so I couldn't be prouder to give this citation to you tonight to recognize that and all the wonderful things that you do in addition to that. You have a wonderful family. You give back to the community in so many ways. But particularly right now, in a very difficult time in our nation, you have reminded us what's right, and we are very pleased to follow. So if I could ask you to stand up and join me for a second at the microphone. This citation is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State Senate, and it reads, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Louis Cimaglia in recognition of your achievement as the 2006 Wilmington Good Guy. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success." That means we expect you to keep doing what you're doing, Lou. "That this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate." Don't worry about that transmitted stuff. That was in the old days when we had money for postage, but we don't anymore, so I bring them. This is signed by the President of the Senate, Robert Travellini. It's attested to by our clerk, William F. Welch, and it's offered by myself, and I am so proud to represent you in the Massachusetts State Senate and proud to be able to look to you for guidance and as a friend, and it's dated on May 12th of 2006. Congratulations for all that you represent for each and every one of us.
Bruce Tarr. Well said, Bruce. Just a couple more quick things. First, we do have a presentation for our friends at WCTV, and I'd like to bring up Harry Cunningham, who's going to make that presentation. For those of you, by the way, I think that most of the people in the room certainly know Harry Cunningham. He's a former good guy. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Harry, actually, I've gotten to know Harry pretty well over the last year, and he gave me some great advice, because he used to host most of these. He gave me some great advice. He said, only make fun of the people that you truly like. So, well, Harry Cunningham.
Not bad for filling. Listen, people asked me why I wasn't going to be the MC this year. At the tryouts, I couldn't pronounce I couldn't pronounce it, so they brought in the big leagues. Listen, over the past few years, past many years, the program has been photographed and copied by a local station. Once they copy this, it's put on TV at a later date. The date for tonight, I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes now, the date for tonight's presentation is, well, November 11th at 3:15 on WCTV, right after the Masconomet Wilmington JV lacrosse team with women, and just before the the Baptist Church has their opening mass. Well, we want to thank the people at WCTV and the persons of Don Leard and Von Buccheri, but we cannot have them up here unless we get some substitutes to take over the cameras. We have Mrs. Curtin, Mr. Bizzara, now these fellows have been taping this over the years in between the drop dishes, the waitresses walking in, picking up coffee, and many other extraneous opportunities that happen here.
Even as we speak.
What?
Even as we speak.
Even as we speak, they're doing it, it says. So, Don Laird?
Yes?
Von Buccheri? We're giving you a Lucci's bag. Okay? We only could get one. They send me up for this. Gentlemen, on behalf of the Good Guy Committee, we wish to say thank you for all the years of service. And this is a mug that's engraved. It's engraved with Lou's name, plus a check, and a sincere gratitude from the Good Guy Committee. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you.
Here's the kid again, the new MC.
Back to the kid.
Thanks, Harry. Thanks for making me look good. I know this isn't the easiest place in the world to find. You know, that little cart path out there is called School Street Extension. Is it off of School Street? Nope. It's behind the church. You know, that's good. And actually, the location when they put this in is no accident. You know, they just it actually saves the taxpayers a lot of policing effort. They figure if at the end of the function, if you can negotiate your car out to Middlesex Ave, you're probably okay to drive. Every morning they go out and they just drudge the swamp and hand out OUIs to any cars still in there. We are here. By the way, is everybody comfortable? Yeah, it must be me. I'm sweating like Ted Kennedy at a roadblock up here. Kind of warm. We're here tonight to honor Lou Cimaglia, Wilmington's 2006 good guy. Congratulations to you, Lou. For anybody, by the way, that does not know about the Wilmington Good Guy, it was started actually in 1967. A group of people got together and they decided that a gentleman by the name of Rocco Di Pasquale was doing so much in the town. That's sure. That he deserved some recognition. So apparently, according to the story I heard from Chuck at one point, they all got together and they rented Rocco's. They had him cater a dinner. So he just slaved away in the kitchen, then he served all the food, and they said, oh, by the way, this is in honor of you. So, and it went on from there, and this is our 38th good guy. And there's several good guys in the audience. You can recognize them by their boutonnieres and the fact that they don't do anything for the town anymore. I'd like to recognize also we've got a lot of important people here that are involved in the town. We've got town manager Mike Kyra is here. We've got our state rep Jim Miceli is here. Chairman of the Board of Selectmen Ray Lepore is here. Former Selectman Frank West is here. Good to see you. Selectman Mike Newhouse is here. And by the way, not that the man is important, but Greg Erickson is here. He's the Director of Health. I noticed he spent some time in the kitchen and then didn't eat a meal. We've got our town moderator, Jim Stewart, is here. Jim, as I'm sure you know, he moderates the town meeting. He's asked me to keep this kind of quick. So we'll see if we can beat the town meeting record. I'm not positive, but we'll give it a shot. And of course, all of our good guys that are represented. There's, what I'll do is at various times during the night, I will recognize them by name. I can see, there's like Paul Curtin and Sandra Curtin and Charles Mickey Rooney and Tom Pizzara, by the way, is a good guy. Although if he lost his flower or they didn't want to give you one. Yeah, you got it now. Tom's a very modest man. He's got every reason to be. Lou Cimaglia, by the way, you grew up in Roslindale, I understand, and high school childhood sweethearts with Marion. Marion also grew up in Roslindale. Marion moved to Wilmington. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? You moved to Wilmington, didn't work, Lou found you anyway. So, it's a nice try. And I will tell you, Lou, and as everybody in here will attest, when the word spread around town that you were this year's good guy, I mean, the general reaction was, really? Because really, I mean, you really do so much for the town. And every good guy, it's amazing what these people do for the town, the time they spent away from home to do things for our community. Some of them have even gone as far as to burn down the restaurant to get a sympathy vote. It's... Don't want to name any names. Well, I am going to, we're going to start everything off, now I got to start all over. There's some new people coming in. I'm going to start things off by welcoming to the stage our honorable state representative to, no, you know what, actually, this is what we want to do. Just for you guys that may or may not be fully aware of a good guy and all the stuff that Lou has done in town, we're going to have Mr. Jack Cavanaugh come up. He wrote one of the nominating letters, and he's going to read it to you, and that'll give you an impression of the kind of guy that's sitting right beside me here. So please welcome Jack Cavanaugh.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jack Cavanaugh, and I was asked to read the letter I submitted to the Good Guy Award group with in regards to Lou's nomination and acceptance. And Good Guy Award, expressive of community service above the call, and thank you for their efforts. It's a special bit of acknowledgement. By the way, I'm a little nervous, all these pros up here, comedians, so I'll get it going. And I believe that this year's award should go to Lou Cimaglia of 26 Park Drive, Wilmington. Lou has been everywhere there was a need for help, whether it be youth activities or cooking breakfasts and dinners at the 4th of July activities. And when he wasn't cooking, he was participating in the organization, feedback, in the organization and running of events during the celebration period. Lou was also very thoughtful of the senior set, especially one senior, Mary DiGirolamo. Lou always made sure that Mary had a ride to and from the social activities that she wanted to attend. Lou also helped out the AIM group at the KSC when needed. As a veteran of the first Gulf War, he knows the need for home connection, and he was instrumental in forming the local heroes. With his drive and the help of other volunteers, many of them here tonight, they have sent up to 2,000 packages of needy items to the local military personnel in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this will continue as long as needed. Lou is also the veteran agent of Wilmington, and he helps veterans with their needs. When I first wrote this letter, I was hoping it would be received well, because I have seen him give so much over the years that a Good Guy Award would be so deserving. But I erred and made a mistake when I said that Lou was active with the AIM group. Actually, that was a long time ago when Lou was cooking there at lunch, and they dismissed him from that. It was around the same period of time when Lou volunteered to cook for the Knights of Columbus Council activity events and roast beef dinners. He actually did a good job, but as time went on, there was an awful lot of waste in the barrels. Well, my friend Tony always asked for the well-done roast being end. You didn't have to worry about that because everybody got well-done roast beef. In fact, we used to call it Lou's famous blackened roast beef. And along came Francis. Francis was the salad guy. He taught Lou how to cook. He's done a pretty good job ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Fenway Park, the home of the Boston Red Sox. Lou is an avid Red Sox fan. In fact, he has season tickets somewhere in center field. I didn't know they had season tickets in center field, but Lou's got them. He's the only guy I know with a season ticket holder that takes a small portable TV to the game to watch it. I tried to get tickets closer, Lou, but they were hard to get by, so I got you a hat instead. Before I give you the hat, I want to quote from a baseball legend, Jackie Robinson, who said, "Life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." And you are an impact player, Lou. So, right now.
Well, some people have bigger heads than others. All right, we're going to move things right along. I'm going to bring up the person I tried to bring up first, but our Honorable State Representative Jim Miceli to say a few words.
When I walked in, can you hear me? When I walked in, everyone said, "You're just in time. Bruce just took a zing at you." So I grabbed him on the way out and I said, "You should stick around." because I like evening the score. And let me tell you a little bit about Bruce, and we can save this for the next good guy dinner. We can continue it. Bruce is known in the State House as a shaper. Real baseball fans know what that is. In other words, I put all the appropriations through the budget in the House. He tries to put them through in the Senate, and they never make it. But after I go over to the Senate and the conference committee and try to keep those in before they go to the governor, he'll tell me, I put a good word in for you. Now let me tell you, when they're putting up the plaques in the wall, his name is on them, and he makes a speech and talks about how well we work together. Now, I don't think that's unfair of me, based on what he has usually said, especially since I wasn't here at the time. But we can continue that later on. Seriously, I've known Lou Cimaglia, and that's the way you pronounce it, folks. It's not Cimaglia and Cimaglia and every other way I've heard it pronounced since I've been coming to these meetings. It's Cimaglia, am I right? Okay. That's what 5 years of Italian in the North End will do for you. It was a mandatory language in elementary school. But seriously, I've known him for many years. I knew him before he came here. And as someone said, he's a very active individual. He's done an outstanding job with the Knights of Columbus, and I met him up in Tewksbury before I met him down here. And he's been active in the Knights. He's always helping people, always had a smile on his face. And if somebody was in trouble, they usually refer them to Lou. So Lou's been doing this for an awful long time. He's also been a salesman, life insurance salesman for the Knights of Columbus, and he's a legend. He's done a lot of things. He's accomplished a lot in that area too. But I think every year when I come to these functions, I say, well, who's the good guy going to be this year? And I'm really enjoying our resident comedian tonight. He's done an outstanding job, and it's early in the program. Oops, I'm about to get a zap. But anyway, you know, he talked about Lou and the reaction of the public to Lou's getting it. And the reaction that I heard, and I think he's going to say that before the night is out, boy, they really picked someone deserving. And they do it every year. I don't know how they do it. They find outstanding people in the community, and there are a lot of them, but real outstanding people in the community who've done a lot. And the work that he's done for veterans is legend. And I'll tell you a story. I had a representative, state representative from Hanover, who came to my office and sat down with me. He said, "Who's this Lou Cimaglia?" And I said, he said, "I met him last night at a Veterans Association's meeting, and he asked me if I knew anyone who was in Iraq." And he said, I gave them the name of one of the state representatives. Within, I think it's a matter of days, I received a letter from that state representative saying, please, please tell Lou how much that meant to me. And he went on to describe everything that he had in that box that he received, and he talked about what he did with those items. And, you know, you send that package. One person doesn't get it. Many people receive that particular package because those folks who are over there share that. And if you only heard this gentleman talk about what it meant to him to get that package, and who else, and he's got a great core of people working for him, but someone like Lou could do something like that. So once again, let me congratulate the committee. And Jack, that's a wonderful letter, and I know we're going to see you involved in years to come. And well deserved. You did a great job. Now I'd like to read a couple of citations. And this first one is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Louis Cimaglia in recognition of your receiving Wilmington's Good Guy Award and of the great deeds that have made you so deserving of this honor. Your work with veterans is legend. You have dedicated yourself to doing great things in the community. Wilmington is fortunate to count you among its citizens. You truly are a good guy. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. And it's signed the 12th day of May, 2005 at the State House, signed by Salvatore De Macy, Speaker of the House, offered by James Miceli, Chairman, And let me tell you, I love Republicans, because they vote in the general election too. So I've got one, nonpartisan, from the governor's office, and it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney governor, Kerry Healy aspiring to be governor, presented to Lou Cimaglia in recognition of your outstanding dedication to Wilmington. Your steadfast commitment to your community is an inspiration and is deserving of acknowledgement by all the citizens of the Commonwealth. And it's signed the 12th day of May, 2006, Mitt Romney, Governor, Kerry Healy, Lieutenant Governor. Lou. Congratulations. Thank you, boss.
We'll just bring this back up to adult height. So, we've been mispronouncing your name all this time. What is it? Chalk dust? What? Cimaglia. Cimaglia. It's good for us to know. Thank you once again, Jim Miceli. Our next speaker coming up to the podium at this time has fostered a very close relationship with Mr. Cimaglia. Please welcome to the stage Steve Ahearn from the Ahearn Family Charitable Foundation.
My name is, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Ahearn. I live in Wilmington with my family. We've been here for about 5 years. I'm also the treasurer of the Ahearn Family Charitable Foundation. That's a foundation my family started that financially supports veterans and families of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are currently deployed overseas fighting the war on terrorism. When I was notified that Lou was selected for the Wilmington Good Guy Award, I was ecstatic, as I could not have thought of anyone else so deserving. I felt honored when Chuck Rocco asked me to say a few words on Lou's behalf. I was sitting at home talking to my wife and pondering of what I could say in only a few words about a man who has dedicated his entire life to serving veterans and the men and women who are currently deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan. I began to think of words I would use to describe Lou to someone who's never met him. Immediately, words like patriotic, dedicated, motivated, and compassionate came to mind. I also thought of character traits that Lou possesses that makes him the man we see here sitting before us tonight. Traits such as dependability, integrity, enthusiasm, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, and loyalty, only to name a few. As a veterans agent for Wilmington and Reading, every week, Lou's days are spent assisting veterans with mountains of paperwork and long phone calls, often being placed on hold longer than that of the conversation itself. Fighting for benefits and securing financial reparations for those brave men and women who have served this country so proudly. Then on Wednesday nights, Lou and his band of brothers and sisters, downstairs in this building right here, pack boxes for the men and women who are currently deployed across the globe fighting the war on terrorism. Box after box, local heroes, volunteers put into these care packages items that were once called a necessity and now considered a luxury. Lou's dedicated service to veterans and his untiring effort to make soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are currently deployed overseas to make their sacrifices a tiny bit easier emulates the true American spirit. So please join me in congratulating Lou on being selected for Wilmington's Good Guy Award. Outstanding job, soldier. I know this awards dinner is supposed to be a roast. I found it very difficult to poke fun at the difficult job that you do, Lou. I know there are people here that will do that for us, and I'm sure they will do a great job. But I will mention one thing. Myself and Lou have had the opportunity to travel to Washington to be appreciated for the work that his organization and my family's organization do for veterans. But the real reason why I hang out with Lou is because every time we're at a veterans event and there is a photo op, I try to get in the picture so I get a good shot at being in the town crier. And that's so my 10 and 11-year-old boys think I'm a celebrity. The Ahearn Family Charitable Foundation would also like to present a plaque to Lou. Lou, if you will. It states that the Ahearn Family Charitable Foundation recognizes Lou Cimaglia for his untiring commitment to serving veterans and also congratulates him on being the recipient of the Wilmington Good Guy Award 2006. Thank you very much, Lou, for what you do.
Steve Ahearn, very well done. I'll see if I can talk to somebody at the crier for you. All right. By the way, I'll get in a lot of trouble if I don't mention this. Has everybody signed the guest book? Because I know, and I'm scared to death of you. So. All right, now, representing the Knights of Columbus in Wilmington, 4th degree, Father Navigator, Al O'Connor. I'm a knight, you can tell.
This particular award comes from the Supreme Council of the 4th degree of the Knights of Columbus. It's an award of one of 6 throughout the nation that are given annually to a 4th degree province of which Bishop Laney is a member of the Bishop Healy province, which embraces all of the 6 New England states and New York. So that's one of the jurisdictions. So there are only 6 of these going out throughout the nation. As you know, Lou is a member of the Knights of Columbus. He's also a member of the 4th degree of the Order of Knights of Columbus, the Bishop Laney Assembly out of Lowell, which represents 7 councils now in the immediate area. They're the people that you see walking around with their capes and their plumes and their swords and parades, serving in wakes and acting as honor guards for different, perhaps religious ceremonials. I was faithful navigator for the fraternal year of the 4th degree, July 1 of 2004 through June 30th of 2005. And as a newly installed officer, we were, I wouldn't say mandated, but mandated, well, we were mandated that being a member of the 4th degree, that your assembly should be patriotic in fact, as well as in name. And with that, I thought we have to do some sort of a project that this idea of being fact as well as in being patriotic in fact as well as in name is evident. And it came upon us that we should do something in support of either our troops overseas and/or our veterans at home. I discussed this briefly with Lou one time in members' quarters, along with Tasker Knight Joe Steen, former state commander of the American Legion, for the jurisdiction of Massachusetts. And they will willingly take this upon themselves. So at a fourth degree meeting in Tewksbury in September of 2004, they took this on, and two other Sir Knights, Bob O'Leary and Dennis Cole, said they also would like to get in on this. So between the four of them, they were supposed to come back and by December and tell us what they had in the idea of a project. That was in August. By November, they had already sent upwards of 30 packages overseas. I mean, nonetheless, at the time, Lou had already been doing this on his own for veterans, but now all of a sudden he felt, I think, as I remember our discussion about this, he felt that here with a little bit of an organization behind it, we can do great things. Well, so it started off as a little simple project for the Bishop Laney Assembly in the fourth degree. It turned out to be what you see today, over almost 2,000 packages sent overseas to our troops. And these packages are not little shoe boxes. These are 12 by 12s, most of them anyway, I think, foot square, and they're crammed. But anyway, this thing took off, and I think I made reference to one of my newsletters that like a jet-propelled rocket. So it went far beyond the parameters of the Bishop Laney Assembly of the fourth degree. And as you can see, it turned out to be a magnificent effort on the part of those four people that saw it through. The leader, of course, is, I shouldn't say the leader, but the prime motivator, I think, and motivator in that regard was Lou Cimaglia. But for their vision and their dedication, we, the members of the Bishop Laney Assembly, received from our Supreme Council an award, and it's called to be a Patriot Award. Again, only six of these are given throughout the nation. And even though it's directed to a Bishop Laney Assembly, I kind of think we received it because of the efforts of Lou, Joe Steen, Bobby O'Leary, and Dennis Cole, and all those other people that soon became so gathered with them and working so hard and dedicated with vision and foresight that none of us even anticipated when we first set out on this little project, what we thought was going to be a little project. But the award reads, for the fraternal year 2004-2005, Outstanding Provincial Patriotic Program to the Bishop Healy of the Bishop of Healy Province, can't read this thing, Bishop Bernard Delaney Assembly number 397, Lowell, Mass, their project entitled Local Heroes. So Lou, on behalf of everybody associated with the KSC, and all regard, and all those beautiful people that work with you, their wives, all the people that you come in contact with, that you meet, that are inspired by your dedication and that of your compatriots. It's a pleasure to present this to you. God bless.
Very nice job, Al. I'll take care of this for you. I really do, by the way, I want to recognize some of the good guys that are here tonight. And I'll just do a few at a time throughout the night. If you hear your name, certainly give a wave, and maybe we can just hold our applause to the very end, and we'll thank all of Wilmington good guys for all that they do for us. But I understand that Frank Ferrazza is here tonight. Also, who's clapping? Judith De Palma is also here. Ivan Palmer is here. So, and like I said, we'll, and by the way, Judith is 1986, Frank was 1976, Ivan is 1989. Thank you all, and we will we'll keep going with that. The next, what did I say? The next gentleman to come up to the stage at this point actually is a former good guy that I haven't named yet, and now I'm starting to feel bad about that. Charles Mickey Rooney is going to come to the podium and make a presentation.
Well, this was kind of popping on me early tonight, and I'm certainly unprepared to make the presentation, but I will. Bob De Palma just handed me an envelope over here early this evening from everybody actually who was here tonight with the funds that were left over for Lou, and it's a $200 donation to the local heroes for Lou. And I'd like to make that congratulations to him. And I'd like to also congratulate him and his committee personally for all the work they've done and the dedication that they put into it. They certainly deserve more. The only problem, Lou, Bob gave me this envelope, and it seems to be empty. I don't know, you'll have to bring that up with him. I don't know if you want to call the police in on this as yet, but I don't know if he had cash, a check, but other, but somehow we'll come up with the money for you. But thank you very much for your.
Sounds like possible embezzlement. The town crier will look into it. Our next speaker coming to the stage is a very good guy himself. In fact, he's a good guy by osmosis, I guess. Please welcome Lou's son, Nick Cimaglia.
Lou Cimaglia is a good guy because of Wilmington Pop Warner. He coached for more than 9 years. This is his 10th. If he isn't coaching, he is either doing the chains or getting a hot dog. He is also the veterans agent in Wilmington and Reading. He is in Wilmington at 9:30 to 1 and Reading till 5. Also, he does local heroes. Every Wednesday he goes to local heroes to pack packages to send overseas. Meanwhile, he is coaching baseball. Right now, he is coaching my baseball team, the Blue Jays. I'm happy because he picked a lot of my friends. My dad is the best at making hot dogs and other food. Finally, he is the best at being my dad. I think he is great. He is very nice, very busy, and a good guy. Congratulations, Dad, for getting the Good Guy Award. Yay!
Very nicely done, young man. I understand you're still going to have to take out the garbage, though. Our next speaker is a very, very important man here in town, and many of you will know him right off the bat. He's very successful, actually, in the human waste disposal business, and apparently he also has a septic company. Please welcome up to the podium our distinguished chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Raymond Lepore.
Thank you, Steve. Got to shrink a little bit. I guess, you know, age is catching up to me. Lou, there's no question in my mind, knowing all the time, the dedication that you've given to all the groups, and especially to the veterans, understanding and knowing what the real, true, and the culture of a vet is, and what the should I say, that the importance of the vets and what they're willing to sacrifice. For you to give your own time and your family as well as the other people that contributed with you is a very, very great honor. With that, I'd just like to give you this gift. And I have to admit that the town manager told me to make sure that you get him something very, very patriotic. So I said, don't worry, Mike, I'll take care of it. So with that, I got you a Paul Revere Bowl.
Steve.
Thank you, Steve. You're the cleanup.
Yeah, I get it. I'm all over that right now. I'm always cleaning up after you. All right, just to recognize a couple more of our good guys here in the audience. Harry Cunningham is here, and believe it or not, he was a good guy in 1990. Eileen Sharp Brennan, or is it Brennan Sharp? Irene Sharp-Brennan. Tom Pizarro, actually, we mentioned him already, and he's wandering around somewhere with that tie. There he is. Jim Buckley was 1996. Wait again. All right. We'll keep things rolling right along by bringing up Joe Steen, who will be representing the American Legion.
Good evening. It's a privilege for me to be here tonight to honor a good friend of the veteran as this year's recipient of the Good Guy Award. I also like to bring forward to the greetings of our department commander, Jim Vreel from Templeton, who's unable to make it due to a previous commitment. I'd also like to announce that every year, the American Legion has what they call a combined banquet, and we honor people from community service, children and youth, and Americanism. It's the highest award that can be given to any individual in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And last year, Louis was a recipient of the Americanism Award. The commander would like to congratulate on that. I'd also like to congratulate you on becoming commander of Post 136, and also as a delegate to a state convention which will be held June 9th and 11th in Springfield. As most of you people well know, I do a lot of traveling throughout the country representing the American Legion. And every time that we go to an airport and your flights are delayed or you're waiting for departure, you always mosey into the lounge and have a cocktail or whatever. And every time I see returning veterans, I always go up, introduce myself, buy them a cocktail, we get into a conversation. Yesterday was no exception. We were in Indianapolis Airport. This veteran walked in, he was in civilian clothes, but he had a jacket, and I could read the bottom of the label, it said Iraqi Freedom or something on it. And he had a little buzz on, and he was hollering, swearing, and yelling at something. Reminded me of Louis on a Wednesday night. But in any case, I said to my wife, I'm curious now, I have to go and find out. I went over and introduced myself as a member of the American Legion and a Korean War veteran. And I'd like to thank you for the job you're doing in Iraq. Well, he got up and he shook my hand, and the next thing I know, we get into a big conversation with him. And Nancy had mentioned we're part of this Local Heroes program. Well, his eyeballs lit up. And he said, there again, I'd like to thank you very much for those packages that you sent. I've shared them with my fellow comrades over there. So Louis, whatever you're doing it right, and I love it. About a month ago, down at Town Hall, I visited Louis in his office. Well, I noticed there was no flag, and I told Louis that I didn't think that was right. I told him I would get him a flag. So Louis, this flag was flown over our capital. Louis, I'd like to present it on behalf of the American Legion and the American Legion Auxiliary, present you this flag to put in your office. I also have one more presentation. This is a homemade plaque. It was made by a gentleman, another Korean War veteran, whose son is still serving the United States Marine Corps and had 3 tours of duty in Vietnam and is going back to his 4th. What did I say? Vietnam. Yeah, okay. His name is Nate Winham, and he's over there with his wife, Joni. Here's the plaque. I say it's all handmade. Hey, Stevie.
Leave that for Steve. Yeah, let's leave that for me, Joe. I got that. Joe Steen. You know, in all seriousness, I thought that was very nice that we gave a standing ovation to one of our brave fighting men. If you indulge me, just so that everybody knows that everybody that has ever served is appreciated, maybe we can stand again for everybody. Is that all right? Gentlemen in uniform, everybody, thank you. All right. We are also, our next speaker is also a member of the Board of Selectmen. As a matter of fact, this is the only the only selectman that currently has a restraining order out against him. At least an active one. Please welcome Mike Newhouse to the podium.
Well, thank you very much. It is an honor to be here tonight. Although I have to admit, when I was first asked to speak tonight, I got a little bit nervous about showing up tonight. After all, I had called Lou 2 or 3 times this week, and if I showed up, I was afraid he might think I was stalking him. Actually, I was asked to speak on behalf of the Local Heroes Group, in large part because there are so many folks who are involved in that. It was difficult to select a member of that group who might speak on behalf of the entire committee. So I'd like to take this moment and ask the folks who are active in that group to please join me at the podium in order to make a presentation to Lou. Please come up. The gift that we had intended to present to Lou has actually gotten a step ahead of us, so I'll take this opportunity to say a couple of kind words about Lou. First of all, we've heard about how phenomenal a job this group has done over the course of the past 1.5 to 2 years. Really, there's an unmitigated zeal that these people have demonstrated, and I think of words like perseverance and stick-to-itiveness when I think of all of these folks, and certainly Lou has been the leader in that regard. As I've watched these folks operate, you hear a lot about 2,000 packages being sent overseas. What I haven't heard tonight is how much effort it takes to raise the funds to send those packages overseas. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of about $70,000 in postage to date. And in order to raise those funds and to fill those boxes, it's a full-time job. There's trips to the bank, there's trips to the supermarket, there's trips to Walmart, there's trips to local businesses to try and raise money. And these folks are busy doing this every single day of the week. It's not just a job for Wednesday nights. One of the other things that I wanted to point out about Lou is the fact that we saw that Red Sox hat on him the other night, earlier in the night, and Lou, you've got quite a squash. That's a big hat. But when I've watched you operate, particularly with the Local Heroes over the course of the last 1.5 years, I've learned that your heart's even bigger than your head. And that's really saying something.
Right. I like that. I like that.
So just one more time, Lou, on behalf of this entire group that I've watched you work so tirelessly with over the course of the last couple of years, they can call you Cimaglia, they can call you Cimaglia. I'll just call you one terrific good guy. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, I thought we'd start by recognizing a couple of more of the good guys that are here in the audience with us. Phyllis Vieira is here somewhere, I know that, right? Yeah. Bill Ross is here with us tonight. Joan Searfoss is here. Dick Reinder is here with us. Charles Mickey Rooney, as we met him. Paul and Sandra Curtin are here. Mr. and Mrs. William Hooper are here. And of course, Chuck and Matt DePasquale are here as well. How about a nice big round of applause for all of our past good guys? Earlier we had a presentation from the Wilmington Knights of Columbus, and Mr. Jeff Linehan unfortunately had to leave early and was not able to make the presentation, but we would still like to make that presentation to you, Lou, and Bud Callahan is going to come up and do that.
On behalf of the Knights of Columbus, Council 4982, which you're residing in at this moment, we would like to make a contribution to the local heroes for Lou Cimaglia for the fantastic job that he's been doing every Wednesday night and throughout the past year and a half, 2 years. Lou and I go back a little, and we have some fantastic personal times. And he took me into Dick's Resort one night in Boston. What an experience that was. For a guy 40 years old to go in there, you know, I mean, after all. So we're sitting there at the bar. Some individual comes in and he's having a drink. It was an Englishman too, wasn't he, Lou? He was an Englishman. He goes out there and he does, have you ever been there? The abuse you have to take when you go into Dick's Last Resort is something. You get an education. If you don't have thick skin, don't go. So anyhow, the guy sitting at the bar and he gets this t-shirt. He doesn't know what to do with it. Lou looks at me, I looks at Lou. Lou grabs the shirt and throws it at me and says, "Bud, let's get out of here." So the Knights of Columbus here in Wilmington, he's a past grade knight as well. We're very, very proud to have him as one of our members. He truly defines what a Knights of Columbus person is. Lou, thank you very much.
Once again, no check? No. I'm going to tell you. Oh, there he comes. Nice job. You know, you should clarify when you tell a story like that so nobody gets the wrong impression. Dick's Last Resort is a restaurant. They weren't on a certain area of the Cape Cod or anything. All right. Is that too far? I'd like to welcome to the podium right now a couple of people that would like to pay tribute to Lou Cimaglia. Please welcome the stage, the podium. I'm used to doing this in a different forum. Wayne and Maureen Parsons.
Allowing Lou the time away from them to do all the things he does for our community and for our troops. You know, Lou, when we women stand on the altar and say, "I do," we don't mean we'll do it all. But in this case, we're really glad Marion does all she does so that we can benefit from all that you do, Lou. You really deserve this award, and Wayne and myself are honored to be here with you and honored to call you our friend. Congratulations.
Also, I'm on the board of directors for Wilmington Pop Warner. And Cimaglia, whatever, we all know him as Coach Lou. Coach, he comes up and buys pizza. Nick, you forgot about the pizza and the slush. You gotta remember the slush, kid, right? Lou will come up and buy slush for the whole team. You know, he's a really good guy, and we have a plaque for him. Lou, a grateful appreciation for all your support and dedication for Wilmington Pop Warner.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, can you take care of this one, please? Thank you. No bags over there.
Next, coming to the podium, I'd like to welcome Paul Bergeron from Camp Curtis Guild.
On behalf of the command who couldn't make it tonight, Lou, for people that received the boxes, it was a great, it was like Christmas every other week. Everything was coming in, people loved it. We were able to take care of guys in other groups too, other units. So on behalf of the unit, we have a flag that we flew overseas. That's a National Guard seal and a victory coin, Boston plaque. And also we have an Iraqi flag. It's not the best quality because they don't really have any quality over there. The braid is crooked, and you'll notice that it goes from large letters to small lowercase. So, but they made this for us, so we thought we'd get one of these to you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. And after one night I called Rocco's, and I think it was during the fire, and Carol said we had to go. But I want to pass on the message that we did have a lot of females in the unit. So the next time we did get packages, I got 3 boxes of female hygiene products under my name. So thank you for that.
Nice job. Well, the night is never complete without a mention of feminine hygiene. So, everybody having a good time still, by the way? What we're going to do, by the way, is we're going to take all the bottles from these 2 tables, cash them in for 5 cents each, and we'll pay all the postage for local heroes for the next year and a half. All right, our next speaker coming to the podium right now is a member of the 4th of July committee, and will be representing that committee. Please welcome to the stage Scott Garant.
Good evening. This has become the Lou love-in, and justifiably so, but it was my understanding that tonight was a roast. So, get ready. If this drags on a few more minutes, it will actually last longer than my time on the Board of Selectmen. Mike Newhouse alluded to this earlier, and while I'm up here, I'd like to make one thing perfectly clear. If it pays $250,000 a year, anybody's welcome to stalk me. The difficult part in preparing to speak at an event like this is to find the right words to characterize a guy who's so well loved in the community, so revered, so cares so much about everyone. I decided the best way was probably the simple way. Thanks for being here tonight, Jim Stewart. Lou, as I said, get ready. I know I speak for the entire 4th of July committee when I say we're really privileged to be here at this rare event. Rare because, unlike most of our meetings, Lou's actually in the room tonight. I also have a little inside scoop on the good guy voting this year. For the first time ever, there was a tie between Lou and another very deserving guy, Mike Newhouse. The committee didn't know what to do, but fortunately it was resolved in short order when they asked town council for a written opinion. Lou was blessed to have a wonderful and supportive wife in Marion, and she learned early on the best way to have a good marriage is to pick your battles. Recently, Lou and Marion were leaving the Knights. I know it's shocking to think Lou was at the Knights. They're driving home. The police officer notices Lou doesn't have a seatbelt on. So, lights go on. Lou's pulling over. He's fumbling to get the seatbelt on. The officer comes up to the window and says, "Sir, you didn't have your seatbelt on, did you?" Lou says, "Sure, I have it right on. Look right here, it's on." So he leans in, looks at Marion and says, "Ma'am, you look like an honest person. He didn't have a seatbelt on, did he?" Marion says, "Officer, I've learned not to argue with him when he's drunk." All right, I think that's enough. Lou, on behalf of the members of the 4th of July Committee, I'd like to say that it's our privilege to work with you. Your thoughtfulness, your wit, and your ever-present smile, your dedication are assets that help our committee immensely and things we cherish both as committee members and as friends. We took a little different route in a gift we wanted to give Lou tonight. And I have to read this quote. On 7 occasions, Tim Wakefield of the Boston Red Sox has been nominated for the Roberto Clemente Award, presented annually to a Major League Baseball player who, quote, demonstrates the values Clemente displayed in his commitment to community and understanding of helping others. I think everyone in the room would agree that's also an apt description of Lou. Lou, if you could come up. It was mentioned earlier that, you can feel free to open. It was mentioned earlier what a big Red Sox fan Lou is. Everyone's well aware of that. And this picture depicts Roberto Clemente Award nominee Tim Wakefield throwing the first pitch of the 2004 World Series.
You got that? All right. Good guy. Scott Garant. I got to tell you, by the way, I don't think that's the first time Lou's gotten a package wrapped in plain brown wrapper. You looked a little nervous when you were opening that. By the way, we're quickly coming to an end here. If there's anybody, by the way, that wanted to speak that hasn't talked to me yet, just grab me. We'd love to have you. In fact, we've added a speaker, apparently a relative of the Cimaglias, or one side or the other. Mr. Kevin Stokes is going to come up and say a few words.
Well, I don't actually have a plaque or a check or anything like that, but I do have a shot of Zambuca, which I know is pretty important to Lou. And I do say I like this poster very much, and I hope to win it at cards sometime in the near future, so I do have my eye on it. I think there's not a whole lot I can say. I think Mike covered the big melon thing pretty good in his earlier comments, and most of what I can add to it I think is probably not fit for this crowd here, so I'll try to keep it clean. Lou obviously is my brother-in-law, best man at my wedding, also my neighbor, so he has a special place in my heart in that I can always borrow stuff from him and never give it back, which is, it's huge. But in all honesty, there's a lot of folks out here that I've seen that I don't actually know, but the common thread we all have is Lou's drafted us into some type of activity, helping somebody or helping a function or helping out in some way. And that's who Lou is, and that's why we're all here tonight. So Lou, salute.
I'm up here representing Father Early of St. Thomas's, which is a parish right over here. He could not be with us tonight. He's doing a wedding and a dance down in Lexington someplace. So I said, Father, can you give a blessing? He said, no, Harry, take care of that. I said, how about a gift, Father? He said, well, Harry, take care of that. He said, what should we do for a gift, Harry? And I said, well, a couple of bucks on the card, Father. We'll slip it to Lou, thank him for all he's done for the church, being an usher. He says, Harry, it's Thursday. I says, Father, what's Thursday? We have no money. Our money comes in on Saturday night. I says, Father, it's Friday night. We have to, give Lou something. Not for himself, but of course for the local heroes. He said, Harry, if there's any doubt on what to do, he says, you do what I always do. So ladies and gentlemen, go to your pockets, because we're going to have Lou take a collection up, okay? And this collection is for the local heroes. Gentlemen, go slow, let them get to their pockets. Lou? This is seriously a collection for the local heroes. I want change. course, what Lou doesn't know, there's a small fee. I will collect that before we leave the building. Lou, don't take no for an answer. I gave already. Uniform doesn't scare me, pal. Just like Dad, taking it out. We have a bag. Ladies and gentlemen, that's very generous, but it's in fitting with our good guy tonight. Lou obviously takes up collections at St. Thomas's and obviously collects from everybody in town. Oh. Tom, there's a bag out there with my name on it. First National Cunningham. I just have one more thing to say since I got the microphone. The advent of tonight is pretty impressive here at Wilmington. We've had the Good Guy Committee around since 1967 when Rocco DePasquale was the first recipient, and it's grown. But over the years we've seen that the recipients have been people who have achieved some sort of level of importance in town where they've given up a lot of their time. And most of these people we find are getting a little gray in the head area. I tonight see up here that this group here is the youngest group I've seen in a long time. So I want to thank, of course, Matt, Chuck, who's a new one, but also our new MC, okay? Again, I was supposed to be MC tonight, but I couldn't pronounce it, Cimaglia. So they said, sit down. But this is fine because people have said to me, where are the good guys? Where were the new blood in town? We kept looking over our shoulder for the new blood. And we looked the wrong way, because the new blood is ahead of us. People like Lou, the DePasquale brothers, and most of all, this fellow right here, Stephen Bjork. So I think the town's in good hands. We have an awful lot of good guys, more to come. And these guys are just going to be very representative of leading the way. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Well, that was very nice, Harry. If only you knew what I said about you behind your back. All right, we're actually we're coming very close to the end here. We have one more speaker that is going to, before we bring in last year's good guys. This gentleman is also a very, very important man here in town. Our town manager, Michael Kyra, will come up and speak a few words. I got to tell you, over the last few years that I've been with the town crier, and I've kind of gotten to know Mike. I've seen him early in the morning at town hall. I've seen him at 1 o'clock in the morning at town hall. I don't think this man owns a single item of casual clothes. Mike, come on up.
Thank you very much, Steve. How about this, drinking at the Knights of Columbus? How novel, huh? I don't know if anybody's feeling my pain. The lowest I had was a 20. And you gotta love Harry Cunningham, huh? Coming up here and talking about the young people. Harry could go to Woodbriar and he'd be talking about the young people. And Steve Bjork is doing a great job. You know, he normally gets gets paid for this. He's a professional comedian, and I understand you're doing this as a volunteer tonight, Steve. You're not getting any money.
What?
Getting no money. And of course, you get what you pay for. The last time Steve Bjork was a Master of Ceremonies was at a roast for Frank Kelly, and I was supposed to speak, and he forgot to call on me. So if you don't mind, I'd like to use some of my Frank Kelly jokes before we... I'm looking over at that table over there where Mr. Kelly is sitting, and I see Ray Lepore there, and I see Frank West. I don't know if it's the Selectman's table or the former Selectman's table, but I see them both over there. And Frank, you know, was one of the featured speakers at the Kelly roast, and like Lou, he also modeled a hat. You may remember, did anybody go to the Kelly roast? And of course, if you know Mr. Kelly, you know he always wore the pith helmet. And Frank came up wearing the pith helmet, which proved what I've always said about Frank, that he's a real pither. The voters said no, Frank. See what you can do when you have a contract? Actually, you know, it's interesting. The committee, of course, always has the difficult task of choosing a good guy each year, and certainly over the last few years where they've chosen the Hoopers and they've chosen the DePasquale brothers, they certainly have proven that they're entitled to one mistake. The interesting thing about Lou is just to show you how, well, I mean, his intellectual capacity is not way up there. He actually thought Jimmy Stewart was a good guy. But I call Lou, I don't, you know, I know his name is Cimaglia. That's how his grandfather would be pronouncing it, and people say Cimaglia and things like that. I just call him Sweet Lou, right, Lou? Lou comes in the office, gives me a little hug, gives me a little kiss. Says, thank you for the job, thank you. And I call him Sweet Lou. Actually, the guy that introduced me to Lou really did the town a great favor, because he knew that our veterans agent was retiring and stepping down, and he said, you know, you ought to talk with this fellow, you ought to meet this fellow. He really is a talented guy, and he was right, and that was Mike Newhouse. Mike actually put me on to Lou, and it's interesting. Mike is here with his absolutely stunningly beautiful wife, Jo, and you've already met, true, you've already met Mike, so you know that Jo thought he had money. And I just want to mention to you, to Lou, that your wonderful son who spoke on your behalf talked about the hours. He said that in Wilmington, 9:30 to 1, and in Reading, 1 to 5, and now I know why you're late every day. We start at 8:30, Lou. But he does do a great job for us. He's actually in, Paul Farrell worked, I think, from almost 40 years and was a wonderful veterans agent, and Lou has worked for 15 months and already holds the career record in distributing checks. And so now you have somebody other than me to blame for the taxes that are going up. But it's certainly a good reason. It's certainly the right reason to do that. And I know there's been so much discussion about the Selectmen's meeting and Town Council, and if you saw Monday night's meeting, you'll be happy to know that it's a two-parter. We're doing this again on Thursday, so if anybody wants to, it's going to be like Roots, I think. You're just going to keep on going one sequel to the next. But Lou, you know, I'm pleased to be here to recognize all of what you have done, and I'm also don't want you to think that I didn't bring anything up. I know you have the bowl there that Ray Lepore brought you. If everybody was Italian, I'd say Pichadou. You know what that means, right? But it's a beautiful Paul Revere bowl. Somebody's Italian. Not you, Harry. But we knew that you needed something, Lou. We knew that you needed something to relax, and that you needed some kind of outside enjoyment because you are so busy. And so the department heads at Town Hall thought, what better than to start you off on the grand game of golf. Yes, and so you can imagine that we did take a collection, Lou, and we got for you a driving range golf ball that I know that you will cherish. Now, don't worry, there was a little money left over from the collection. And with that money, Lou, we have a coupon from Honeydew for an egg and cheese breakfast sandwich for 99 cents plus tax. And I'm not just going to give him I'm not going to give him the other stuff because I want the donuts. But I am going to give him this 99-cent coupon, and I know, here's your $1 to go with it, and it says plus tax. It's a nickel, you owe me a penny, Lou. You know, the committee just outdid themselves this year when they selected Lou. He certainly represents all of what is right about the town of Wilmington. So if people think that after 38 years it's difficult to find a good person in the town of Wilmington, they're sadly mistaken. In this case, though, they really found a great person. Somebody who is not interested in the credit. And that really is something rare today. I mean, let's just think about that. And we kid him about being in the town crier all the time, but that's not his goal in life. His goal in life is not to be in front of the camera. His goal in life is to be in the background and making sure what needs to be done gets done. And I know for Lou, probably his greatest reward are not all of these wonderful accolades that he's been presented tonight, but I think it's the fact that his friends are here to tell him how much they think of him. And for Lou, his greatest award is his wonderful family. And I think when you think about Lou, you also think about family and how important it means to him, and why Wilmington is a special place to so many of us. And so when I think about Lou, I think about the fact that he makes Wilmington look good. And I think that more than anything else describes Lou Cimaglia and his wonderful family. And your being here today is certainly a fitting tribute to a great, great guy. Thank you very much.
Michael Tarr. By the way, that's very generous, Mike. Now we know where you pissed away that $9 million surplus. I'll give you 50 cents for that coupon. Tom, you have something? Oh, look, somebody actually has money.
Yeah, I wasn't going to speak, but I find with what I have in my hand mandates that I do. Harry Cunningham came up with the idea of the collection. We thought that would be a funny shtick. We figured we'd pick up about $100, $150. We got $802. It's incredible. We only have like 120 people here right now. Louis, we got $102.50. That was my contribution. So here you go, Lou. $802.
Apparently, I shouldn't have put in $700. Well, I personally, I got to tell you before we go on, I've had a great time. I'm honored to do this for you, Lou. And all the kidding aside, you are a great guy. When they told me who it was, I couldn't think of anybody that deserved it more. So congratulations. Right now, I'm going to bring up 2005's good guys to talk a little bit about Lou, Chuck, and Matt DiPasquale.
My father was the first good guy in 1967. Like Steve had said earlier, you know, everybody had the party at the restaurant. He did all his cooking. At the end, they called him out and said, "You're the good guy, Rock." And he cherished that. He really did. I mean, he did a lot for the town. And Matt and I are just chips off of his block that we, you know, take after him. We do kind of the same things to, you know, for the sporting activities and local people, you know, donating to certain things. But this is how we were raised, and this is how we were brought up, and it's, you know, it's kind of a neat feeling to do this. I know that you know, it's going to continue, and Lou Cimaglia is a great person. I've met Lou, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago. And my first impression of him was he always had a smile on his face. And if you see him tonight, that smile hasn't been off his face once. He's just that type of guy. Anybody who meets him knows him, and will tell you the same thing, that he's a great guy and very deserved of this honor. So if Matt wants to say anything.
I think this is very hard. Thank God you didn't have it last year and we got it this year, because I couldn't have followed or felt any worse or good or whatever about the good guy. I am absolutely amazed at what I've heard tonight and what you've done. I want to tell a story to everybody. When we reopened the restaurant, we ran out of milk. So I had to get milk at Sunrise. And I was going to go to Market Basket, but I was very busy. So I went over to the Sunrise, and Lou was there. All I had to do was get 1 gallon of milk. And Lou had like $40 in change on the counter to get tobacco products to send overseas. And all I wanted to do was get in and out of the store, and I was stuck behind Lou counting quarters. But that's my story. But I am very, very honored to have you in our group. And thank you very much.
We do have a couple of gifts to Lou. Last year, you know, we were presented with a pretty nice hat. So there's a hat that should fit your melon. Is that what they were calling it earlier? And I'll bring it back and get a. I don't know if they have a bigger size, but we'll try. And we got a nice little mug for you, which says "Good Guy 2006." Thank you. Well, I just wanted to take a second to do a personal thing. I know my wife is going to kill me about this, but being honored with the Good Guy Award last year, you know, it was pretty cool. You know, we were out of work, as somebody said earlier. We burnt the restaurant down, and we, you know, didn't have a lot to do. So I was able to go to Saturday soccer games with my family, and so now Saturday comes along. We get in my big truck. It's an Excursion 10-cylinder, and it doesn't pass any gas stations. And I need a gas, so I pulled into the first self-serve gas station I saw, and pulled up to the pump and pulled a nice crisp $20 bill out of my wallet. And I looked at my wife and I said, "I'll take 20. And she looked at me, "I'm not pumping your gas." And I said, I'm the good guy. You gotta pump my gas. She said, that was last night. It's all over. And I said, no, it's not all over. You know, I think it should be a good guy weekend. Then I really thought about it. I said, it's a year. It's a year before they really announce another good guy, so let's make it a good guy year. So I went ahead and I made myself a little crown. So I wore this crown every Sunday. Sunday was my day off. I wore it every Sunday, around the house, lounged around. You know, and I'm going to pass this on to Lou. I hope he does the same thing with it. I also made up several certificates. No yard work. Good Guy Award. Free gas pumping. Oh no, you're not getting this one. I'm still trying to collect on this one. But I do want to pass this on to Lou.
Well, Lou, seeing as this is the end of the evening, we give you the Wilmington Good Guy Award, May 12, 2006, Lou Cimaglia.
Denise, you're finally off the hook. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and privilege to present to you right now the 2006 Wilmington Good Guy.
Thank you, Steve. Nice job tonight. Best part about that was I didn't have to listen to Harry all night. So, thank you. Thank you for doing that, the MC. Wow. Mike, I'm going to need a bigger office to go with my bigger budget to put all this stuff in. I appreciate it. And thank you for the job, by the way.
No kiss?
Give him a hug.
Wow. But I give and I give and I give. Yes. Louis, go get his car. Good Guy Award. I'm very honored to accept this award tonight. Looking around the room, all the past good guys and good guy girls, especially Chuck and Matt, most recent. Wilmington's an amazing town. I'm very proud of Wilmington, and now I work for another town as well, and I see what they do and how they act. And Wilmington's a very unique town, very, very passionate town. Love it, the kids, the sports, and everything means a lot. The Good Guy Award, the 4th of July committee, what we do on the 4th of July. And thank you for those kind words too, Scott. Are you still here? Thank you very much. That's great. It should really be called the Good Family Award. Like somebody touched on earlier. You are my princess, right? What I do is what we do. We spend a lot of time doing different things in different committees. And that's another thing, by the way. I'm on this committee now, right? Oh, yeah. What night of the week do we meet? There's not many left. But do we vote on the MC?
I still go back up there.
Yeah, okay. But again, it should be the Good Family Award. I am so proud of my kids and what they've accomplished in this town. Louis, as everyone knows, writes for the town crier. Nick's, look at Nick. Nick's Nick. the sports star, and Brittany, and Marion, my wonderful wife, and what we do and what we've accomplished, and all her family's here tonight. My family's at a wedding that I had to leave for Jim. Again, Jim, congratulations. I thought you would have understood. I just, thank you. Thank you all very much, and thanks for coming. And thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's stay standing, and a big round of applause for all the good guys that, all 38 of them that are with us, that are not with us anymore, all of them.